Sometimes life puts smoke right in front of you. You are moving fast. You have made decisions. You have momentum. And suddenly something crashes in front of you. You cannot see what is on the other side. You do not know if you are about to hit failure, rejection, loss, embarrassment, pain, or something you are not ready for. And in that moment, everything in you wants to flinch. Everything in you wants to slow down, pull back, hesitate, overthink, and protect yourself. But this is where life tests you. Because sometimes success is not about seeing the whole road. Sometimes success is about having the courage to keep looking ahead when all you can see is uncertainty. Sometimes you have to move through the smoke without knowing what is waiting on the other side. You have to trust that when you get there, you will figure it out. That is life. That is growth. That is the path to becoming stronger than you ever thought possible. Listen, I know it is scary. I know the thing in front of you feels bigger than you. I know your mind is telling you to run from it, avoid it, delay it, hide from it, and pretend it does not exist. But if it scares you, maybe that is the reason you need to face it. Because when you run from fear, fear grows. When you avoid pressure, pressure becomes heavier. When you keep hiding from the thing you know you must confront, it does not disappear. It waits for you. It follows you. It gets louder. So stop running from it. Run to it. Confront it. Face it. Dance with it if you have to. But do not let it control you anymore. You have to take the power out of that thing. You have to go after it. You have to look it in the face and say, not this time. I am not running anymore. I am not hiding anymore. I am not listening to the voice that tells me I cannot do this. Because that tension you feel, that pressure you feel, that fear in your chest, that resistance in your mind, it can produce greatness if you stop treating it like an enemy. The great ones do not avoid the hard thing. They get to it, they go through it, and the harder it is, the stronger they become. Fear will make you think in ways you should not be thinking. Fear will make you speak in ways you should not be speaking. Fear will make you shrink your vision, lower your standards, doubt your gift, and question your future. But not this time. You have come too far to give up now. You have survived too much to stop here. You have carried too much pain, too much pressure, too much rejection, too much doubt to turn around at the very moment that life is asking you to become stronger. You have to move with faith. You have to believe before you see it. You have to believe in yourself before the world gives you a reason to believe. You have to believe in your ability, your ideas, your vision, your discipline, and your future, even when nothing around you confirms it yet. Do not rule anything out for yourself. Do not talk yourself out of your own destiny. Do not quit because it feels difficult. Sometimes you have to talk to yourself. And sometimes that conversation will be the most important conversation you ever have. You have to tell yourself, I can do this. I have what it takes. I will not be defeated. I am not finished. I am not going out like this. Radical change does not happen overnight. You can make the decision in one moment, but you have to stay on top of yourself every single day. You have to keep choosing power over weakness, courage over comfort, faith over fear, ownership over excuses. Most people live like volunteer victims. They blame the world, they blame their past, they blame people, they blame timing, they blame their circumstances. But the moment you give all the blame away, you also give your power away. So from today forward, no more complaining, no more talking about problems like you are powerless. Only solutions, only ownership, only responsibility. Say it clearly, this is my life, this is my problem, this is my challenge, and I am going to find the solution. Because when you say it is someone else's fault, you hand them control over your life. And you cannot give another person control over your destiny. Take it back. Take full ownership. If there is a giant in front of you, do not just stand there hoping it disappears. Do not just stare at it. Do not just talk about how big it is. Go face it. Go fight it. Go meet it before it meets you. You have to believe when you cannot see it. You have to speak it when the odds are against you. You have to wrestle with that challenge and say, we can do this all night if we have to, but you will quit before I quit. You will give up before I give up. I am not letting go until this pain gives me wisdom. I am not letting go until this struggle gives me strength. I am not letting go until this season produces something in me that comfort never could. I will not stop. I will not give up. I will not give in. Not until my day comes. Because real strength is not defined by never falling. Real strength is defined by how you rise after the fall. The highest moments of your life will only be possible because of how you handled the lowest moments. Those moments when you wondered if it was worth it. Those moments when you thought maybe you were wasting your time. Those moments when you questioned if you were good enough. Those moments are not proof that you are weak. They are proof that you are being tested. And if you pass the test, you will not come out the same person. People may think you're crazy. Sometimes you may even think you're crazy. You may question yourself. You may look around and wonder if anyone understands what you're trying to build. You may feel alone. You may feel misunderstood. You may feel like nobody sees the pressure you are carrying. But that is part of the process. It takes courage to keep going when nobody is clapping. It takes courage to believe before the evidence shows up. It takes courage to keep working when people laugh, doubt, criticize, ignore, or misunderstand you. When you have a dream, one of the biggest challenges is not the work itself. It is the people who try to shrink your dream down to the size of their own fear. You cannot allow that. You have to look at the people around you. Who has access to your mind? Who has access to your energy? Who are you allowing to speak into your vision? Some people are energy drainers. Some people are dream breakers. Some people do not need to be hated, but they do need to be removed from the center of your life. Because if you keep looking to the wrong people for support, you will keep handing your future to people who were never supposed to understand it. Stop looking outside yourself for permission. Look inside yourself. There is something in you that does not retreat. There is something in you that was built to stand. There is something in you that knows you were not created to live small, scared, and silent under the weight of other people's opinions. You have to take the lion approach to life. I am not backing up. I am not walking backward. I am not surrendering my purpose because fear got loud. You are more powerful than you realize. You are stronger than you think. You can survive more than you believe you can. You're more capable than your current situation is telling you. And sometimes rejection is necessary. Sometimes laughter is necessary. Sometimes hearing no again and again is necessary, not because it feels good, but because it builds something inside you that easy success never could. So stop saying, I had a bad day. Say, I had a character building day. Say, today trained me. Today tested me. Today showed me where I am still weak, and now I know where to get stronger. You can be an active participant in your life, or you can live like a victim. But before anything changes outside of you, something has to change inside of you. You have to believe in your heart that it is possible, that you can become more, that you can build more, that you can heal, that you can rise, that you can become the person you keep imagining. And that means your mind has to change. You have to armor your mind. You have to prepare yourself for life. Build confidence, build self-esteem, build discipline, build inner strength. Because one of the hardest things in the world is to believe in yourself when everything around you gives you reasons to doubt, to believe you are special, to believe you are different, to believe you are supposed to become somebody, to believe in yourself one more time, even with fear in your body, doubt in your mind, pressure on your shoulders, and pain in your past. That is the work. Pick yourself up one more time. Talk to yourself one more time. Stand up inside yourself one more time. Tell yourself, I can do this. I have what it takes. I will not be defeated. I can find a solution. I am not finished yet. There is still purpose in me. There is still work for me to do. There is still an assignment that is incomplete. I am not through yet. So dry your tears. You are not being given the luxury of feeling sorry for yourself forever. Get busy. Start asking better questions. Start doing the work. Start researching. Start learning. Start fighting back. You cannot surrender. You cannot collapse every time life applies pressure. You have to stand up and ask, what do I need to do now? What is the next move? What can I control? What can I build? What can I solve? What can I improve today? Your belief must become so strong that when people doubt you, ridicule you, question you, or come against you, it becomes nothing more than a minor inconvenience. Their opinion cannot be stronger than your purpose. Their doubt cannot be louder than your discipline. Their laughter cannot be more powerful than your faith. So meditate if you need to. Write it down if you need to. Speak it over your life if you need to. Declare it every morning if you need to. Surround yourself with people who are not controlled by the opinions of others, because everybody has an opinion, but not every opinion deserves access to your mind. Do not let the world define what you believe about yourself. Do not let fear write the story. Do not let doubt hold the pen. You are still here. You are still breathing. You are still capable. And if you are willing to face what scares you, own what is yours, fight for what matters, and keep moving through the smoke, you will come out on the other side stronger, sharper, wiser, and more powerful than you ever thought possible. So go through it, face it, own it, fight back, believe before you see it, and do not stop until the person you are becoming is stronger than the fear that tried to stop you. No matter what you are going through in life, no matter how sad you are, no matter how much pain you are carrying, no matter what kind of trauma, pressure, confusion, or disappointment is sitting on your chest right now, you are strong enough to see another day. And you do not have to be 100% every single day. That is not what this is about. This is not about waking up every morning feeling perfect. This is not about always being inspired. This is not about having unlimited energy, unlimited confidence, or unlimited motivation. This is about showing up. That is the difference. No matter what the odds look like, no matter how your body feels, no matter how heavy your mind is, no matter how uncertain your future appears, you show up. You show up when you feel strong. You show up when you feel weak. You show up when people believe in you. You show up when nobody understands you. You show up when the progress is obvious. And you show up when nothing seems to be changing at all. Because showing up every day does something deeper than make you happy. It builds something inside you. It builds identity. It builds character. It builds trust with yourself. It teaches your mind that you are not a person who quits just because the day is difficult. Think about the people who truly become great at something. They do not work for 1 week and disappear. They do not try for a month and quit because nobody clapped. They work for years and years on something that most people cannot see yet. They live in the wilderness of the process. They show up every day and work on the thing, often without recognition, often without appreciation, often without knowing if they are even heading in the right direction. That takes a different kind of person. That takes character. That takes determination. That takes a level of belief that does not need immediate evidence. At some point, you stop asking whether the outcome is guaranteed, and you start living like the outcome is inevitable. You stop treating discipline like a choice, and you start treating it like identity. This is who I am becoming, and this is what that person does. If you knew for certain that 6 months from now your life would look completely different, you would do the work today. If you knew for certain that your body would change, your mind would sharpen, your career would rise, your confidence would grow, your money would improve, Your future would open. You would stop negotiating with the process. You would simply ask yourself one question. What can I do today to get closer to the fulfillment of that future? Not next year, not next month, not when life becomes easier, today. Because every single day you have the opportunity to become more than you were yesterday. You may feel average, you may feel ordinary, you may feel like you do not have extraordinary ability, extraordinary talent, or extraordinary circumstances. But every single day, an ordinary person can make extraordinary decisions, and those decisions compound. One step forward counts. One small act of discipline counts. One page written counts. One workout counts. One call made counts. 1 hour of focused work counts. One moment where you refuse to quit counts. None of us are going to feel perfect every day. Life will challenge you. Life will come after you. Life will interrupt your plans. Life will test your emotions, your patience, your faith, and your identity. But life is still a gift. And if you are still here, if you are still breathing, if you still have another day in front of you, then you still have a chance to move forward. When you go to bed at night, ask yourself, did I take one step forward today? It does not always have to look the same. Body. Maybe today you built your mind. Maybe today you built a relationship. Maybe today you protected your mental stability. Maybe today you learned something. Maybe today you did not do everything you wanted to do, but you refused to throw up a 0. That matters. Because when you know you took a step forward, you can sleep differently. You can wake up differently. You can look at yourself differently. The easy days are not what separate you. The days when it is easy to work, easy to train, easy to write, easy to create, easy to focus, easy to believe. Everybody has those days. Yes, you still need to show up on those days. But those days do not create much separation between you and everyone else. The days that create separation are the hard days. The days when you are tired. The days when you feel behind. The days when you feel invisible. The days when doubt is loud. The days when your body does not want to move. The days when your mind gives you every reason to stop. Those are the days that matter most. Because if you can find a way to show up on the bad days, even if it is less than what you hope to do, even if it is not perfect, even if it is the smaller version, even if all you can do is avoid throwing up a 0, that counts. That counts more than you think. Consistency is not always about doing the perfect version every day. Real consistency is flexible. Real consistency adapts. If you do not have enough energy, do the easier version. If you do not have enough time, do the shorter version. If your mind is heavy, take one small step. If the day is chaotic, protect the one thing that keeps you moving. Do not throw up a 0. Find a way to show up. Because showing up is how you create the opportunity to become better. Showing up is how you build skill. Showing up is how you develop capacity. Showing up is how you turn something difficult into something normal. At first, discipline feels like a fight. Then it becomes a rhythm. Then it becomes part of your life. At one point, even the simplest habits had to be learned. But now you do them without thinking. That is what discipline becomes when you repeat it long enough. You do the work. You ask yourself every day, what can I do? What can I improve? What can I practice? What can I build? What can I correct? What can I finish? And after enough time, showing up is no longer something you have to force. It becomes who you are. If you want to be great, this is what you do. You show up every day, not only when there is an event, not only when there is a stage, not only when there is an opportunity, not only when someone is watching, not only when someone is calling. You show up before the opportunity comes. That is preparation. There are two types of people. There are people who only prepare when there is something obvious in front of them. If the event does not show up, they do not show up. If the phone does not ring, they sit around waiting. If nobody gives them a chance, they stay exactly where they are. And then there is another kind of person, the hungry one, the prepared one, the one who gets up whether there is an opportunity or not, the one who gets dressed whether anybody called or not, the one who trains in the off-season, the one who works when there is no audience, the one who practices as if the opportunity has already arrived. That person understands something most people miss. You do not get ready when the moment comes. You get ready before the moment comes. So when the door opens, you are not scrambling, you are not panicking, you are not trying to become someone overnight. You are already prepared. That is what this is about. Preparation, working while you wait, doing what must be done when there is no guarantee. It is easy to give up. Giving up is one of the easiest things in the world. It is easy to say, I am done. It is easy to say, nothing happened yesterday, so why should I try again today? It is easy to work hard once, see no result, and use that as an excuse to stop. What is hard is waking up the next day and saying, yesterday I gave everything I had and nothing changed, but today I am going to show up again and I am going to try to go even harder. That is hard. That is rare. That is where most people break. But that is also where winners are built. Because if you do not show up, you are not even in the game. If you do not step onto the field, you have no chance. If you do not swing, there is no possibility of hitting anything. So show up. Get out of the bleachers. Get on the playing field. Stop watching life from a distance. Stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for the perfect phone call. Stop waiting for someone to discover you. Stop waiting for someone to hand you the exact opportunity you imagined. You have to move. You have to show up every day, because if you are going to believe in your future, your belief must be earned. You earn belief by keeping promises to yourself. You earn confidence by doing what you said you would do. You earn identity by repeating the actions of the person you claim you want to become. Do you know what separates the people who achieve their dreams from the people who do not? It is not always talent. It is not always time. It is not always luck. It is resilience, persistence, and the courage to keep showing up. The people who make it do not always have a perfect journey. They do not always feel certain. They do not always have support. They do not always get fast results, but they keep showing up. Every day you keep showing up, you are sending a message to life. I am here to stay. I am here to fight. I am here to win. That is resilience. Resilience does not mean life never knocks you down. Resilience means you can withstand difficulty and recover from it. It means you can be hit, disappointed, rejected, delayed, doubted, and still find a way to get back up. And resilience is not a gift only a few people are born with. Resilience is a muscle. You build it by failing and trying again. You build it by falling and getting back to your feet. You build it by having bad days and refusing to let the bad day become your identity. You build it by moving forward, even when it feels like you slid backward. Sometimes you will not know exactly what to do. Sometimes all you will know is this: I am going to get through this. I may not have the full answer today, but I am going to get through this. I may not know how the whole road unfolds, but I am going to get through this. I have survived storms before. I have been knocked down before. I have felt lost before. I have been afraid before. And I am still here. Life is going to hit you in the mouth sometimes. And when it does, you have to look back at life and say, you picked the wrong one this time. You may have broken somebody else. You may have stopped somebody else. You may have intimidated somebody else. But you are not dealing with the old version of me anymore. At first, you may feel bad. At first, you may think your feelings should decide whether you do the work. But after a while, you learn something powerful. You can do what you are supposed to do even when you do not feel good. And eventually, the strongest version of resilience is when how you feel is no longer the main question. You do not wake up and ask, do I feel like doing it? You wake up and say, this is what I do. The feeling becomes irrelevant. The mission becomes louder. The standard becomes stronger. because what you become in the process is more important than the dream itself. The kind of person you become, the character you build, the courage you develop, the faith you strengthen, the discipline you earn, that is the real reward. One day you will look in the mirror and you will know you are not the same person. You will walk differently. You will speak differently. You will carry yourself differently. You will know it was hard, but you did it hard. So get yourself up, stand up, rise up, because if you get up, you are still in the fight. I know you are tired. I know it hurts. I know you have been hit. I know you have had moments where you wanted to stay down, but keep getting up. You have to be able to bounce back. You have to be resilient. Sometimes you are going to face obstacles, and you must have the ability to get back up and brush it off like you have never failed before. Dig down deep and find that warrior inside you. Use that warrior to get back up. You have the power to fall down 9 times and get back up 10. You have the power to lose the lead and still come back and win. You have the power to start again. But understand this, if you do not execute on the plan, if you do not get up when you are tired, if you do not move when you are scared, if you do not do the work when it matters, you are not only cheating yourself, you are cheating your future, you are cheating your family, you are cheating the people connected to your purpose, you are cheating everyone who needs you to become the person you are meant to become. This is bigger than you.
Hard work works.
You may have dreams, you may have goals, you may have passion, you may have vision, but you cannot get around hard work. There is no magic wand. There is no shortcut that turns your dream into reality without discipline. Hard work is required, and you have to ask yourself, what do you do when thousands of people want exactly what you want? What do you do when you are not the only one with a dream? What do you do when other people are aiming at the same position, the same career, the same success, the same future? You outwork them, you outlast them, you outprepare them, you get up earlier, you stay focused longer, you execute when they are still talking, you work while they are waiting, you keep going when they lose interest. But understand this clearly. Hard work alone is not enough if you are not improving. Do not just be busy. Get better. Do not just move. Move with purpose. Do not just repeat the same weak habits and expect a different life. Work on yourself while you wait. Because what happens if 30 days pass, an opportunity comes, but you are the exact same person? What happens if 60 days pass and the change begins, but you are still carrying the same mindset, the same laziness, the same fear, the same lack of discipline? Everything around you could change, but if you do not change, you will eventually get the same results. So work while you wait. You cannot stop. There is greatness in you, but you have to find the courage to silence the noise and define it for yourself. It will take hard work. It will take courage. It will take self-discipline. It will take patience. It will take emotional control. It will take the ability to keep going when results are slow. Being smart is good, having talent is good, having ideas is good, but the things that truly separate people are often not just intelligence. It is discipline. It is grit. It is consistency. It is resilience. It is the ability to keep showing up when nobody is forcing you. Now think about your goal. See it in your mind. See the version of yourself you are trying to become, and say to yourself, it is possible. Say it again, it is possible. That is the first step. Because most people live far below their potential, not because they have no ability, but because they do not truly believe they can have more than what they have now. They do not believe they can become more than who they are now. They do not believe they can rise above the level they were born into, trained into, or talked into. But you must believe it is possible, and then you must work like you believe it. Do not cut corners. Do not cheat the process. Do not look for the appearance of success while avoiding the substance of discipline. Every win is not really a win if you cheated yourself to get it. Every result is not really a result if you took shortcuts that made you weaker. You are not robbing anybody else when you cut corners. You are robbing yourself. So do the real work. Work on your focus. Work on your perspective. Work on seeing difficulty differently. Stop looking for 5 easy steps to greatness. It is not that simple. Greatness is work. Every day. Most people want the top, but they do not want to master the level they are on right now. They want the stage, but they do not want the practice. They want the reward, but they disrespect the small assignment. They want to lead, but they cannot follow. They want to be seen, but they do not want to serve. Work the level you are on. Do not despise small beginnings. Do not ignore small opportunities because they look beneath you. Sometimes the thing you think is too small is the very thing that prepares you for the larger life you keep asking for. Just keep working. Nobody said it would be easy. If it were easy, everybody would do it. So work on your faith. Wake up every day and say, today may not be the day, but my day is coming, and I will not give up. I will not give in. I will not stop until my day comes. You have enough right now to begin changing your world. You have enough power. You have enough patience. You have enough ability. You have enough hunger. You have enough discipline available to you if you are willing to activate it. You may not control everything. There are things outside your power, but there are also things inside your power. Your sleep, your training, your learning, your research, your health, your preparation, your focus, your attitude, your effort, your discipline, your standards. Do everything possible within your power. Do not do just enough to get by. Go above, prepare above, work above, study above, train above, serve above. And after you have done everything within your control, let the results come how they come. But do not stand around doing nothing and call it faith. Faith works. Faith prepares. Faith moves. Faith executes. Whatever you think you are, you have to make that dream a reality. And that is the hard part. That is where people break. That is where the grind comes in. You may be looking for passion, but sometimes the fuel you need is already inside the things you are ashamed of. Your insecurities, your fears, your doubts, your pain, your past. The things you want to hide may contain the energy you need to change. When you can look at your fear and find drive in it, you become dangerous. When you can look at your insecurity and turn it into discipline, you become powerful. When you can look at your doubt and use it as fuel, you become hard to stop. Stop trying to change everything around you before you change yourself. Some things are not yours to change. You cannot control every person. You cannot control every situation. You cannot control every system. You cannot control every opinion. You cannot control every outcome. But there is one person you can change. You. Work on yourself. Put in the work. Put in the hours, do the repetitions, practice the craft, train the body, strengthen the mind, fix the habits, raise the standard, get up and get after it as hard as you can. This is one life, one shot, no dress rehearsal, and working on yourself is not selfish. It is one of the most selfless things you can do, because if you are no good to yourself, you cannot be good for anybody else. When you improve yourself, you improve what you bring to everyone around you. When you value yourself, you stop dragging your weakness into every room. When you strengthen yourself, the people connected to you feel the difference. So get up. If you cannot get up and get after it, how do you expect to go to another level? Comfort tells you to sleep in. Your future tells you to rise. Your old habits tell you to wait. Your purpose tells you to move, and if you do not move, somebody else will. One day, the opportunity is going to come up. And out an audience, you will not be ready when the time comes. Purpose is not always something far away that you have to discover in some perfect moment. Purpose is already here. The purpose is you becoming better. The purpose is you refusing to waste the life you have been given. The purpose is you waking up and deciding that yesterday's version of you does not get to control today. So if you wake up in the morning and you do not want to do the work, remind yourself that this is not about mood. This is about pride. This is about standards. This is about self-respect. This is about becoming the kind of person who can trust himself. Do not wait for the alarm clock to save your life. Rise up. Get after it. This is your day. Get up and beat yourself from yesterday. This is not only about today. This is not only about tomorrow. This is about every day, because every day matters. And when you learn to respect every single day, when you learn to perfect the small moments, when you learn to show up even when it is not ideal, you are going to wake up one day and see yourself doing things you once thought were impossible. You are not waiting for the perfect time. You are making this the perfect time. You do not need the perfect setting. You do not need the perfect mood. You do not need the perfect opportunity. You do not need the perfect support. You are going to make it because you are fueled from the inside. So ask yourself, are you going to finish losing, or are you going to finish as a winner? Are you going to keep waiting, or are you going to start working? Are you going to keep talking about the life you want, or are you going to become the person who can actually live it? Keep showing up on the good days, on the bad days, on the lonely days, on the painful days, on the days when nobody sees it, on the days when nobody believes it, on the days when you feel like nothing is changing. Keep showing up. Because 1 is better than 0. 1 step is better than standing still. 1 act of discipline is better than 1 more excuse. 1 day of effort is better than 1 more day of regret. And every time you show up, you are building proof. Proof that you are serious. Proof that you are changing. Proof that you are not the same person anymore. Believe that this can be the first day of the best days of your life, but do not just believe it. Show up for it, work for it, prepare for it, fight for it, and become the person who is ready when it arrives. What does it really mean to be resilient? It does not mean you never fall. It does not mean you never feel fear. It does not mean you walk through life untouched, unshaken, unbroken, like nothing ever gets inside your chest. No, resilience means something much deeper than that. Resilience means life can hit you, delay you, disappoint you, embarrass you, strip you down, and still not own the final sentence of your story. It means you can stand in the middle of pain and still choose your next move. It means you can lose the comfort, lose the confidence, lose the plan, lose the version of yourself you thought you were going to become, and still find enough strength to begin again. Not perfectly, not loudly, not with everyone clapping, but honestly. 1 step, 1 breath, 1 decision, 1 small act of courage when the easy thing would be to disappear. That is resilience. And most people misunderstand it. They think resilience belongs to people who are born strong. They think some people simply have it and others do not. They look at someone who keeps going through hardship and say, they are different. They are built differently. But that is not the truth. Resilience is not a gift handed to a chosen few. Resilience is trained. It is developed. It is carved into you by the very moments you once wished you could avoid. Every setback can train it. Every failure can strengthen it. Every day you get up when you do not want to get up, you are building it. Every time you continue while your emotions are begging you to stop, you are building it. Every time you refuse to let one bad chapter become your entire identity, you are building it. You do not become resilient because life is easy. You become resilient because life forces you into a corner. And somewhere deep inside you, something refuses to die there. That is the part of you I am speaking to. Not the tired part, not the scared part, not the part that has been making excuses, the deeper part, the part that knows you are not finished, the part that knows there is more in you than your current condition is showing, the part that knows you have survived too much to start acting weak now. Because look at you, you are still here. After everything you thought would break you, you are still breathing. After the disappointment, you are still here. After the betrayal, you are still here. After the failure, the confusion, the nights when you did not know how you were going to make it through, you are still here. That means something. That means life has tested you before and failed to erase you. So stop treating your current storm like it has more authority than every storm you have already survived. You may not know the full answer today. You may not know how the whole situation will turn around. You may not know when the pressure will lift. You may not know who will stay, who will leave, who will understand, or who will doubt you. But you can know this: you are not going to surrender your future to one painful season. You are not going to let this moment convince you that your whole life is over. You are not going to let temporary pain become permanent identity, because the storm is not here to name you. The storm is here to reveal you. It reveals what you actually believe. It reveals what standard you actually live by. It reveals whether your goals were real or only convenient. It reveals whether your discipline exists only when life is easy. And this is where most people lose. They do not lose because they have no potential. They lose because they obey every feeling. They feel tired, so they stop. They feel afraid, so they hide. They feel rejected, so they shrink. They feel uncomfortable, so they retreat. They feel uncertain, so they delay. They keep asking their emotions for permission to become the person they said they wanted to become. But your emotions are not always qualified to lead your life. Your emotions can inform you. They can warn you. They can speak. But they cannot be allowed to rule. Because if your feelings make every decision, your life will be built by fear, comfort, anger, sadness, and impulse. And that is not leadership. That is slavery. At some point, you have to become the kind of person who can feel something deeply and still choose correctly. You can feel afraid and still move. You can feel tired and still work. You can feel hurt and still heal. You can feel uncertain and still take the next step. You can feel unmotivated and still obey the standard. That is maturity. That is discipline. That is resilience. The highest version of resilience is not when you never feel weak. It is when weakness no longer gets to control the outcome. You stop asking, "Do I feel ready?" You start asking, "What is required?" You stop asking, "Do I feel strong?" You start asking, "What is the next right action?" You stop asking, "Is this comfortable?" You start asking, "Is this building me or destroying me?" Because the person you become through the process matters more than the prize you are chasing. The dream is important. Yes, the goal matters. The money matters. The body matters. The business matters. The house, the reputation, the achievement, the victory, all of it can matter. But the deeper question is this: who are you becoming while you chase it? Are you becoming more disciplined, more honest, more focused, more emotionally controlled, more responsible, more capable of standing alone, more faithful to your own word? Because if the dream gives you success, but the process does not build your character, you may win something outside and still be weak inside. And that is not real victory. Real victory is when you look in the mirror and see a different person looking back. Not because life got easier, but because you stopped folding. You stopped breaking promises to yourself. You stopped using pain as an excuse to stay small. You stopped letting yesterday dictate today. You stopped needing life to be perfect before you showed up, and you became someone who could be trusted. That is what you are trying to build, not just success, self-trust. Because many people do not really lack motivation. They lack trust in themselves. They do not believe themselves anymore because they have watched themselves quit too many times. They said they would change and they did not. They said they would start and they delayed. They said they would finish and they abandoned it. They said this time would be different, and then they returned to the same pattern. So now when they set a goal, some quiet part of them does not believe it. That is why confidence feels weak. Confidence is not built from talking. Confidence is built from evidence. Every promise you keep becomes evidence. Every hard day you survive becomes evidence. Every workout you complete, every page you write, every task you finish, every distraction you refuse, every morning you rise when the old you would have stayed down, it becomes evidence. And slowly your mind begins to believe you again. That is how a person changes. Not through one emotional moment, not through one powerful speech, not through one burst of inspiration, through evidence, private evidence, repeated evidence, evidence nobody else may see. And that is why you must get up. I know you are tired. Get up. I know it hurts. Get up. I know you feel behind. Get up. I know you lost something. Get up. I know you thought life would look different by now. Get up. Not because getting up magically fixes everything, but because nothing can change while you are still lying down in the identity of defeat. You cannot think your way into a new life while repeating the same surrender. You have to move. You have to stand. You have to return to the work. You have to brush off what happened and decide that failure is not your final name. You fell, then learn. You lost, then rebuild. You were embarrassed, then become stronger. You were rejected, then sharpen yourself. You were delayed, then develop patience. You were hurt, then heal without becoming bitter. But do not stay there. Do not build a home in the place that was only meant to teach you a lesson. Pain can teach you, but pain must not become your personality. Failure can correct you, but failure must not become your identity. The past can explain some things, but the past does not get to command everything. At some point, you have to take responsibility, not because everything that happened was your fault. That is not true. Some things were unfair. Some people failed you. Some doors closed without warning. Some seasons were heavier than they should have been. But even when it is not your fault, your response still belongs to you. Your healing belongs to you. Your discipline belongs to you. Your comeback belongs to you. Your future belongs to you. And if you refuse to take ownership of your response, then life will keep happening and you will keep waiting for someone else to change before you become free. That is a trap. Do not wait for the apology. Do not wait for the perfect support. Do not wait for everyone to understand. Do not wait for the past to become fair. Take what is left. Take what is in your hands. Take the strength you still have. Take the time you still have. Take the breath in your lungs. Take this day and start rebuilding. Because your life changes when you stop saying, "Why did this happen to me?" and start saying, "What am I going to build from here?" That question has power. What am I going to build from here? Not from the perfect beginning, not from the easy childhood, not from the clean path, not from the ideal condition. From here. From the mess, from the pressure, from the loss, from the silence, from the bottom, from the place nobody thought anything good could grow. That is where real strength is born. Pressure can destroy a person who refuses to grow, but pressure can also refine a person who decides to use it. The difference is response. The same weight that breaks one person can build another. The same rejection that makes one person bitter can make another person focused. The same failure that makes one person quit can make another person disciplined. The same pain that becomes an excuse for one person can become fuel for another. So the question is not whether pressure will come. It will. The question is, what will you do with it? Will you let it make you smaller, or will you let it make you sharper? Will you let it become a reason to quit, or will you turn it into a reason to train harder, think clearer, move cleaner, and live with more intention? You cannot control every storm, but you can control your posture inside the storm. You can control whether you panic or prepare. You can control whether you complain or learn. You can control whether you collapse or adapt. You can control whether you keep feeding fear or start feeding discipline. Because whatever you feed grows. Feed your excuses, and they will become stronger. Feed your anger, and it will become your language. Feed your fear, and it will design your limits. Feed your discipline, and discipline will start protecting your future. Feed your faith, and faith will help you move when evidence is still small. Feed your consistency, and consistency will quietly separate you from the person you used to be. So be careful what you keep feeding. Some people feed the old story every day and then wonder why they cannot become new. They replay the insult. They replay the failure. They replay the betrayal. They replay the childhood. They replay the rejection. They keep giving energy to the version of themselves that life wounded. But if you want to become free, you have to stop worshiping the wound. You have to heal. And healing is not pretending it did not hurt. Healing is looking at what happened without letting it control what happens next. Healing is saying, yes, that was real. Yes, that affected me. Yes, I lost something there. But I am not going to let that be the only truth about me. Today you heal from what you did wrong. Today you heal from what was done to you. Today you heal from the words that stayed in your mind too long. Today you heal from the people who spoke pressure into your life but never stood beside you when it mattered. Today you heal from what you did not receive. Today you heal from the version of yourself that survived by pretending everything was fine. Because some of you learned how to smile while suffering. You learned how to look strong while falling apart. You learned how to be quiet with pain inside you. You learned how to keep functioning while something in you was asking for help. But now you cannot just survive. You have to transform. So transformation will give you a life worth living. And transformation requires honesty. You have to look at the pattern. Where do you keep quitting? Where do you keep running? Where do you keep blaming? Where do you keep lying to yourself? Where do you keep choosing comfort while asking for greatness? Where do you keep saying you want the next level while protecting the habits of the old level? Because you cannot rise while defending everything that keeps you low. You have to give something up. That is the part people do not like. Growth costs. If you want a new life, you may have to sacrifice parts of the current one. Not only the bad parts, sometimes the comfortable parts. Sometimes the easy routine. Sometimes the people who only know how to love the old version of you. Sometimes the cheap pleasure. Sometimes the familiar excuse. Sometimes the identity that made you feel safe but kept you average. You cannot become more and keep everything exactly the same. Something has to leave. Something has to be cut. Something has to be outgrown. And if you are serious, you will stop negotiating with the habits that keep betraying your future. Set a standard. Set a goal that forces you to grow. Not a fantasy goal that you talk about for attention. A real goal. A goal with structure. A goal with daily pressure. A goal that makes you organize your time, protect your focus, control your emotions, and stop living randomly. Because the worst thing you can do is let yourself off the hook. Excuses are dangerous because they feel like mercy. They make quitting sound intelligent. They make delay sound reasonable. They make weakness sound understandable. But every excuse takes a little more power from you. And if you keep accepting them, one day you will look at an average life and realize you explained your way into it. Do not do that. Do not explain your way into staying stuck. Do not justify the very thing you were born to overcome. Dominate where you are right now, even if the room is small, even if the title is low, even if nobody respects the work yet, even if you are not where you want to be. Dominate where you are, because how you handle the small place prepares you for the larger place. If you cannot be disciplined in the unseen season, you will not magically become disciplined when people are watching. If you cannot respect the small opportunity, you will not be ready for the larger responsibility. If you cannot show up with limited resources, more resources may only expose the same weak pattern at a bigger level. So use what you have. Start where you are. Move with what is in your hands. Stop waiting for perfect conditions. The day is already moving. The clock is already moving. Your life is already being spent, and you do not get to replay today. Once this day ends, it is gone. So what will you do with it? How long are you going to talk about changing? How long are you going to dream about becoming better? How long are you going to imagine the future while avoiding the next action? How long? At some point, the dream has to become a schedule. The vision has to become a habit. The desire has to become a decision. And the decision has to become repeated behavior. That is where greatness is built, not in the loud moment, in the repeated moment. Consistency is not exciting, but it is powerful. Consistency does not always feel dramatic, but it changes everything. The person who keeps showing up can beat the person who only gets emotional once in a while. The person who repeats the basics can pass the person who keeps searching for secrets. The person who continues after the mood disappears is the person who eventually becomes dangerous. So keep going. Again, again, again. When it is boring, when it is slow, when nobody notices, when the progress is under the surface, when the world cannot see what is forming yet, keep going. Because some growth happens in silence before it ever becomes visible. There are seasons where nothing looks different on the outside, but something is taking root inside you. Your discipline is taking root. Your belief is taking root. Your skill is taking root. Your patience is taking root. Your identity is taking root. And if you stop too early, you may destroy something that was closer to breaking through than you knew. That is why patience matters. But patience does not mean sitting still. Patience means you keep working without demanding instant proof. Patience means you do the right thing long enough for the result to find you. Patience means you stop digging up the seed every day to check if it is growing. You water it, you protect it, you repeat, you improve, you stay faithful to the process. And one day what looked invisible becomes undeniable. People will call it sudden, but you will know it was not sudden. It was the mornings nobody saw, the nights you kept going, the times you wanted to quit and did not, the private battles, the quiet sacrifices, the repeated decisions, the moments where you had every reason to fold, but chose to stand. That is why you need a reason. Motivation is not enough when life gets heavy. You need a reason that reaches deeper than mood. Why must you become stronger? Why must you heal? Why must you win? Why must you build? Why must your family name become different? Because you lived. Why must your future not look like your past? Write that reason down. Carry it. Return to it. Because when fear speaks, your reason must speak louder. When doubt rises, your reason must stand taller. When comfort invites you back into the old life, your reason must remind you what staying the same will cost. And yes, you may fail while trying. Good. Fail moving forward. Fail learning. Fail with your hands on the work. Fail in motion. That is different from never trying. The real tragedy is not giving everything and falling short. The real tragedy is letting fear keep you at the starting line. So take the risk, make the attempt, start before you feel completely ready. You will never remove all fear before you move. You move and fear loses authority along the way. You act and confidence begins to follow. You continue and identity begins to change. That is how it works. Not ready first, action first, not confidence first, evidence first, not perfect belief first, obedience to the next step first. So get up, take the day seriously, rise like the morning does. No apology, no negotiation, no waiting for permission. Rise, follow through, finish. Heal from yesterday, but do not carry yesterday like a chain. Learn from the mistake, but do not become the mistake. Feel the pain, but do not kneel to it. Face the fear, but do not obey it. And when the old story tries to pull you back, speak to yourself. I am not staying here. I am not done. I am not the worst thing that happened to me. I am not the version of myself that quit before. I am becoming someone stronger. I am building something better. I am moving forward. Again, again, again. Because this life is not finished with you. Your work is not finished. Your purpose is not finished. Your future is not finished. There is still something inside you that has not been fully expressed. There is still a level of discipline you have not reached. There is still a version of strength you have not met. There is still a life that requires you to stop making peace with weakness. So stop waiting, stop shrinking, stop explaining, stop letting yourself off the hook. You have a day to conquer. You have a body to train. You have a mind to command. You have a standard to protect. You have a future to build. And no, it will not be easy. Easy is not the path. Worth it is the path. Hard is the path. Consistent is the path. Uncomfortable is the path. But if you keep walking it, you will become someone you respect. And that is one of the greatest victories in life. To look at yourself and know, I did not quit. I did not stay broken. I did not let fear own me. I did not let pain define me. I did not let pressure destroy me. I became stronger inside the storm. So say it now, not as empty words, but as a command to your own spirit. I will make it through this. I will rise again. I will rebuild what was broken. I will use the pressure. I will train the emotion. I will keep the promise. I will become the proof. And as long as I can still breathe, still move, still decide, still work, still fight, still believe, my story is not finished. And if your story is not finished, then you cannot keep living like a person who has already accepted defeat. You cannot keep saying you want another life while still protecting the habits that created this one. You cannot keep saying you want to rise while giving yourself permission to stay low. You cannot keep telling yourself that you are built for greatness, then only work when the mood is right, when the weather is perfect, when your emotions are stable, when someone encourages you, when the music is playing, when life finally feels fair. That is not greatness. That is conditional effort. And conditional effort will never build an uncommon life. Because the truth is simple. Some people start losing, and the moment the score goes against them, they stop playing. They lose momentum, so they quit. They lose confidence, so they disappear. They lose support, so they question everything. They lose one battle, and they start acting like the whole war is over. But there is another kind of person. The kind of person who looks at loss and refuses to bow to it. The kind of person who says, "Not like this. I am not going down like this." The kind of person who may be hurt, may be tired, may be frustrated, may be surrounded by reasons to stop, but still finds a way to keep their hands on the work. That kind of person gets to places most people never reach. Not because they are lucky, not because they are always motivated, not because life was gentle with them, but because they made a decision that quitting would no longer be their language. And this is where you have to be brutally honest with yourself. You say you want to be a champion, But do you work like one? You say you want the result. But do you live by the standard? You say you want the life. But do your daily actions prove that you are serious? Because wanting is cheap. Everybody wants more money. Everybody wants a better body. Everybody wants more respect. Everybody wants confidence. Everybody wants freedom. Everybody wants to become someone undeniable. But very few people want the boring, ugly, repetitive cost of becoming that person. Very few people want the early mornings when nobody is watching. Very few people want the lonely nights when the result still has not arrived. Very few people want the discipline of doing the same thing again and again until their life has no choice but to change. That is the separation. Not talent, not background, not luck, not words. The separation is whether you can keep going when there is nothing exciting about the process anymore. Because greatness is not built only in the moments when you feel powerful. Greatness is built on the ordinary days. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. The days that do not feel special. The days that do not give you a sign, the days where the work is plain, the body is tired, the mind is restless, and the old version of you starts whispering, "Take it easy, skip this one, you can come back tomorrow." That is where your future is being decided, not in the dream, in the ordinary day. And this is what most people do not understand. It is going to be a grind either way. Building the life you want is a grind. But staying stuck in the life you hate is also a grind. Training is hard, but living in a body you do not respect is hard. Building a business is hard, but needing permission from people you do not respect is hard. Saving money is hard, but being controlled by every emergency is hard. Discipline is hard, but regret is hard. Focus is hard. But wasting years and pretending you had no choice is hard. Both paths will cost you, so choose the pain that pays you back. Choose the hard that builds you. Choose the sacrifice that gives you a future instead of the comfort that steals it from you quietly. Because comfort is expensive. It looks cheap in the moment. 5 more minutes, 1 more scroll, 1 more excuse, 1 more day off, 1 more compromise, but the bill comes later. The bill comes in lost time, lost confidence, lost momentum, lost self-respect, lost opportunity, lost years. And one day you wake up and realize you did not lose your dream in one dramatic failure. You lost it in small daily negotiations. You lost it every time you gave yourself a pass, every time you said not today, every time you let feelings outrank principles, every time you chose relief over responsibility. That is why you have to become more serious with yourself. Not hateful, not cruel, serious. You have to look in the mirror and stop lying. You have to confront the one person who has been holding the keys the whole time. You, not them, not the economy, not your childhood, not the people who doubted you, not the people who left, not the people who did not clap. You are the one who has to get up. You are the one who has to execute. You are the one who has to control your impulses. You are the one who has to stop returning to the habits that keep robbing your future. You are the one who has to decide that from this day forward, you will not hold anyone else more accountable than you hold yourself, because that is where power begins. You stop asking the world to become easier. You become harder to stop. You stop waiting for people to save you. You become responsible for your own rescue. You stop asking for a perfect situation. You become dangerous inside an imperfect one. And this is why obsession matters. Interest is not enough. Interested people like the idea. Obsessed people live by the demand. Interested people show up when it feels good. Obsessed people show up because the standard does not care how they feel. Interested people talk about what they might do. Obsessed people build evidence in silence. Interested people drift. Obsessed people refine the details. Interested people want the title. Obsessed people fall in love with the preparation. That is the difference. Interest can come and go. Obsession stays with you. It wakes up with you. It follows you into the gym. It follows you into the office. It follows you into the late night. It follows you when people misunderstand you. It follows you when your friends think you are doing too much. It follows you when ordinary people look at your discipline and call it extreme because they cannot imagine being that committed to anything. But understand this, if you do not know what you want, obsession can destroy you. But if you know what you want, if your target is clean, if your purpose is real, if your standard is clear, then obsession becomes a weapon. It gives you focus, it gives you urgency, it makes you pay attention to the small details that casual people ignore. It makes you practice the basics when everyone else is searching for shortcuts. It makes you ask, how can I do this better? Not once, every day, because the most successful people are often called lucky by people who never saw the private labor. They say, he is gifted. They say, she had an advantage. They say, they got lucky. But they did not see the repetitions. They did not see the years. They did not see the early mornings. They did not see the discipline when nobody believed. They did not see the quiet refusal to stop. Yes, you need to work smart, but do not use work smart as an excuse to avoid working hard. You need energy and sweat. You need thinking and execution. You need vision and repetition. You need planning and pressure, because you do not even know what is inside you until you start demanding more from yourself. You do not know your real capacity while living soft. You do not know your real mind while obeying every feeling. You do not know your real strength while quitting at the first sign of discomfort. You discover yourself under demand. You discover yourself when the standard rises. You discover yourself when you stop asking for an easier road and start asking for a stronger spine. That is why there must be urgency in your life, not panic. Urgency. Panic makes you sloppy. Urgency makes you focused. Panic wastes energy. Urgency directs energy. Panic says everything is falling apart. Urgency says the clock is real. Move with intention. Because time is not waiting for you to feel ready. The day is not waiting. The month is not waiting. The year is not waiting. Your life is moving whether you move or not. And one day the clock will run out. That is not fear. That is truth. You do not have unlimited mornings. You do not have unlimited chances to become the person you keep imagining. You do not have another 100 years to waste negotiating with weakness. So create a sense of urgency before life creates one for you. Move before the pain forces you to move. Change before the consequences get louder. Take the dream seriously before regret starts speaking with a voice you cannot ignore. Because every day you delay, you are not just losing a day. You are training delay. Every day you hit snooze on your standard, you are teaching your mind that your promise does not matter. Every day you choose comfort over your future, you are voting for the old life. And those votes add up. That is why small decisions are not small. The 15 minutes matter. The skipped workout matters. The unfinished task matters. The extra hour of distraction matters. The broken promise matters. Not because one moment destroys everything, but because one moment repeated becomes a life. So stop acting like the little things are harmless. The little things are where the big things are born. Your future is hiding inside your routine. Your confidence is hiding inside your follow-through. Your freedom is hiding inside the habits you keep avoiding. Your next level is hiding inside the discipline you keep postponing. So set the standard, then raise the standard, then protect the standard when your feelings try to negotiate. No more half effort. No more living at 50% and wondering why life feels small. No more pretending that 70% commitment should produce 100% results. No more asking for championship outcomes with average preparation. Bring everything. Bring your energy. Bring your focus. Bring your patience. Bring your hunger. Bring your willingness to do the ugly work. Because ugly work is where the separation happens. Everybody likes the beautiful part, the applause, the success, the recognition, the visible transformation, the final result. But very few people want the ugly part. The rejection, the correction, the failure, the repetition, the slow improvement, the physical discomfort, the mental pressure, the emotional discipline, the private responsibility. But the ugly part qualifies you for the reward. The ugly part proves that you are not only interested, the ugly part builds a person who can handle what they asked for. Because if you cannot handle the process, you are not ready for the prize. And if you keep running from discomfort, you keep running from the very thing that is trying to build you. So stop running. Draw a line in the sand. Enough of letting moods rule your day. Enough of giving your future leftovers. Enough of needing perfect conditions. Enough of living as a slave to every craving, every comfort, every distraction, every weakness dressed up as a preference. At some point, you have to tell your body who is in charge. The body says, I do not want to wake up. You say, get up. The mind says, I do not feel like working. You say, work. The old habit says, just one more time. You say, no. The distraction says, you can start later. You say, now. That is how command is built, not by feeling strong, by practicing authority over yourself. Because if you cannot command yourself, something else will command you. Your appetite will command you. Your phone will command you. Your mood will command you. Your fear will command you. Your environment will command you. Your past will command you. And then you will call it personality, when really it is a lack of self-governance. You were not born to be a slave to yourself. You were born to direct yourself, to discipline yourself, to sharpen yourself, to choose the future over the impulse. And yes, you will get tired. Everybody gets tired. The winners are not people who never feel tired. They are people who understand the difference between needing recovery and looking for escape. Rest if you must. Recover if you must. Breathe if you must. But do not quit. Do not confuse fatigue with permission to abandon your future. Do not confuse a hard season with a stop sign. Do not confuse discomfort with danger. You are allowed to be tired. You are not allowed to betray the standard. That is the mindset. Execution is not just activity. Execution is devotion. It is how you honor what you say matters. You execute for your future. You execute for your family. You execute for the people who sacrifice before you. You execute for the version of yourself that is still waiting on the other side of your discipline. You execute because talk cannot build the life. Only action can. There is no discount on greatness. There is no cheap version of mastery. There is no shortcut that lets you skip the price and still keep the reward. Sweat is part of it. Failure is part of it. Rejection is part of it. Sacrifice is part of it. Being misunderstood is part of it. Doing the work when nobody cares is part of it. So stop wanting people to place you somewhere you have not earned. Earn it. Earn the body. Earn the confidence. Earn the money. Earn the peace. Earn the skill. Earn the respect. Earn the life. Not because the world owes it to you, because you decided to become the kind of person who can carry it. And if conditions are good, work. If conditions are bad, work. If you feel strong, work. If you feel weak, work. If people support you, work. If nobody supports you, work. Because discipline that only exists in perfect conditions is not discipline, it is convenience. Real discipline shows up when conditions change. Real discipline shows up when the weather is bad. Real discipline shows up when emotions are unstable. Real discipline shows up when life is unfair. Real discipline says, I made a promise and I do not need the universe to become easy before I keep it. That is what separates people. Not what they say when they are inspired, what they do when it is inconvenient. So now ask yourself, can you draw the line? Can you say, this is enough? Can you say, I will no longer be the person who keeps delaying my own life? Can you say, I want change more than I want comfort? Because that is the difference. You have to want the change more than the old pleasure, more than the warm bed, more than the easy excuse, more than the distraction, more than the temporary relief, more than the part of you that keeps begging to stay the same. And when you want it that badly, your behavior changes. You stop needing help sleeping in. Nobody needs help being distracted. Nobody needs help making excuses. Nobody needs help avoiding pain. That part is easy. People need help sacrificing. People need help staying focused. People need help choosing the hard right over the easy wrong. People need help becoming the kind of person who does not quit when the process stops feeling good. Not a voice that entertains you, a voice that confronts you. Execute, adjust, execute again. No excuses, only adjustments. If the plan fails, adjust. If the path closes, adjust. If the method does not work, adjust. If the day goes wrong, adjust. If you fall behind, adjust. But do not disappear. Do not abandon the mission. Do not throw away the whole future because one day was difficult, because this is the truth. Resilience got you back up. But discipline decides what you do after you stand. And from this point forward, standing is not enough. You must move. You must build. You must train. You must finish. You must become obsessed with the standard, not the applause. Obsessed with the process, not the fantasy. Obsessed with execution, not explanation. Obsessed with becoming the person who does what he said he would do. And if you can do that, day after day, quietly, seriously, without needing the world to approve every step, your life will begin to change, slowly at first, then visibly, then undeniably. And one day, people will say you changed, but you will know the truth. You did not change in one day. You changed every day, every time you got up, every time you chose the hard thing, every time you refused the excuse, every time you raised the standard, every time you kept moving when the old you would have stopped. That is how the grind proves you. That is how discipline reveals you. That is how a person becomes dangerous. Not because they are loud, not because they are emotional, not because they are gifted, but because they can be trusted with their own promise. So get up, lock in, raise the standard, protect the standard, do the ugly work, choose the hard that builds you, and execute until the life you used to talk about becomes the life you actually live. Most people do not need another positive thought. They need to get up. That sounds harsh, I know. But stay with me, because there is a place in life where thinking about change starts to become a way of avoiding change. You tell yourself you are healing. You tell yourself you are growing. You tell yourself you are becoming a different person. You watch another video, read another quote, write another line in your journal, and for a few minutes you feel like your life is moving. But then the feeling is gone. The room is quiet again. The same clothes are on the chair. The same phone is in your hand. The same unfinished work is waiting for you. The same body is tired. The same fear is still there. The same version of you that promised to change last night is now trying to negotiate this morning. And this is where the truth gets uncomfortable, because the problem is not that you do not know what to do. You know, maybe not everything, maybe not the whole road, but you know the first thing. You know the habit that needs to stop. You know the call you are avoiding. You know the work you keep delaying. You know the body you are not taking care of. You know the dream you keep talking about but not building. That is what makes it painful. You are not confused. You are divided. There is one version of you that speaks beautifully about the future and another version of you that keeps voting for comfort in private. One version says, I want more. The other version says, not today. One version says, this is my time. The other version reaches for the same distraction, the same excuse, the same delay. And after a while, you stop trusting yourself. That is the real damage. Not failure, not a bad day, not falling off once. The real damage is when your own word stops meaning anything to you. You say you are going to wake up early, but some part of you already knows you probably will not. You say you are going to focus, but some part of you already knows the phone will win again. You say you are going to change, but deep down there is a quiet voice asking, are we really doing this, or are we just talking again? That voice is not your enemy. That voice is the part of you that is tired of being lied to. So no, positive thinking is not useless, but positive thinking without action becomes another drug. It makes you feel better without making you better. It gives you the emotional reward of change without the actual cost of change. It lets you imagine a stronger life while avoiding the discomfort required to build one. And that is a dangerous place to live, because you can spend years feeling inspired and still be in the same place. You can believe in abundance and still repeat scarcity habits. You can visualize confidence and still obey fear. You can talk about discipline and still let your mood run the day. You can say you are becoming your highest self while your lowest habits still control your schedule. At some point, the mind has to meet the body. At some point, the dream has to touch the floor. At some point, all that energy, all that vision, all that belief has to become something real. A page written, a workout done, a bill paid, a phone put away, a promise kept, a morning won. Not because you felt like it, because you said you would. That is where real self-respect begins. Not in the speech, not in the plan, not in the moment when you feel powerful. Self-respect begins in the private moment when no one is watching and you do the thing anyway. That is the place most people avoid. They want the public result, but they do not want the private war. They want the transformation, but they do not want the boring repetition. They keep feeding the old routine. They want to be seen as disciplined, but they do not want to be alone with the work. And listen, there will be seasons where you have to do it alone, not because the world hates you, not because nobody cares, but because nobody can build your life for you. Nobody can crawl inside your habits and fix them for you. Nobody can wake up in your body, fight your urges, manage your emotions, and choose your future on your behalf. That part is yours, completely yours. And if that sounds heavy, good. Because your life should feel heavy when you keep handing it over to excuses. You are not powerless. You are just practiced. Practiced at delaying. Practiced at overthinking. Practiced at giving yourself a way out. Practiced at calling it planning when really you are hiding. Practiced at calling it rest when really you are escaping. Practiced at saying tomorrow until tomorrow becomes the shape of your whole life. But the beautiful thing is this: practice works both ways. If you can practice weakness, you can practice strength. If you can train your mind to avoid discomfort, you can train it to walk through discomfort. If you can build a habit of breaking your word, you can build a habit of keeping it. If you can become addicted to distraction, you can become attached to clarity. If you can spend years becoming someone you do not respect, you can spend the next year becoming someone you trust again. But you have to stop waiting for motivation. Motivation is not coming in the way you think it is. You keep imagining that one day you will wake up with this clean, powerful feeling. No resistance, no fear, no laziness, no doubt, just fire, just certainty, just a perfect version of yourself ready to begin. That day is a fantasy. Real people do not live like that. The people who build something meaningful still wake up tired. They still have bad moods. They still feel fear. They still get bored. They still question themselves. The difference is not that they feel something magical every morning. The difference is that their feelings are not in charge. That is discipline, not punishment, not self-hate, not grinding yourself into dust just to prove you are tough. Discipline is when your higher decision remains alive after your lower mood shows up. Read that again in your own mind. Your higher decision has to survive your lower mood, because the mood will come, the laziness will come, the doubt will come, the old self will come. It will come with reasons. It will come with logic. It will sound very intelligent. It will tell you that you are tired. It will tell you that you deserve a break. It will tell you that you can start later. It will tell you that this small action does not matter. And that is where you have to become dangerous. Not loud, not emotional. Dangerous in the quiet way. The kind of person who does not argue with weakness for 20 minutes. The kind of person who does not need to feel ready to start. The kind of person who can hear the excuse and still put on the shoes. Still open the document. Still make the call. Still do the small thing, because the small thing is not small, it is evidence. Self-belief is nice, evidence is better. You do not build real confidence by telling yourself you are confident. You build it by watching yourself do hard things and survive. You build it by keeping one promise, then another, then another. You build it by creating a private history of proof. Proof that you can move when you are tired. Proof that you can focus when you are tempted. Proof that you can return after you fail. Proof that your future is not just something you imagine, but something you are training for. This is why habits matter. Habits are where your philosophy becomes physical. Anyone can talk about becoming better. Anyone can say they want success. Anyone can be emotional at midnight. Anyone can promise a new beginning after a bad day. But your habits tell the truth. Your habits know who you are. Look at your mornings. Look at your nights. Look at what you repeat when you are stressed. Look at what you reach for when you are bored. Look at what you protect. Look at what you sacrifice. Look at what you keep doing, even though you know it is costing you. That is your real belief system. Not what you say, what you repeat. And if that hurts to hear, let it hurt. Do not run from that pain. Pain can be useful when it is honest. Shame destroys you when it makes you hide, but truth can save you when it makes you wake up. So wake up, not dramatically, practically. Stop trying to change your whole life in one heroic burst. That is another trick. You get excited, you go too hard, you burn out, then you call yourself weak. No, that is not transformation. That is intensity without architecture. Build the architecture, build the system, because systems beat moods. If you want to train, do not wait until morning to decide. Put the clothes out tonight. If you want to write, do not wait for inspiration. Open the page before your mind has time to negotiate. If you want focus, stop pretending your phone is harmless. Move it, block it, remove it. Make distraction harder to reach than discipline. Design your life so the right thing becomes easier. That is not weakness. That is wisdom. Stop relying on willpower like it is some endless river inside you. It is not. It runs low. It gets tired. Hunger, fear, noise, and cheap pleasure. If every good decision in your life requires a heroic battle, eventually you will lose. So stop making every day a war. Make some decisions automatic. Make some standards non-negotiable. Make some habits so small that your excuses look ridiculous standing next to them. Do not say, I need to change my entire body. Say, I will walk for 10 minutes. Do not say, I need to write the whole book. Say, I will write one paragraph. Do not say, I need to fix my whole life. Say, I will win the next hour. That is how you begin. You lower the first step, not the standard. You make starting easy, so quitting becomes harder. And once you start, something happens. The mind that was resisting begins to follow the body. The body moves, and the mood shifts. The first step creates the second. The second creates momentum. Momentum creates motivation. That is the order. Action first, feeling later. Most people have it backward. They wait until they feel motivated, then they act. But the people who actually change understand that motivation often arrives late. It shows up after you have already started. It shows up after you have already proven that you are serious. It shows up after the work has already begun. So stop waiting at the door for a feeling that may never knock. Move, even badly, even slowly, even with doubt in your chest. Because bad action teaches you more than perfect intention. A rough first step teaches you more than another week of thinking. You can adjust while moving. You can learn while doing. You can become clear through contact with reality. But you cannot steer a parked life. And that is what overthinking does. It parks your life. It makes you feel busy because your mind is loud, but nothing is actually moving. You are analyzing the road while still standing in the same place. You are studying the mountain without taking one step. You are waiting to become the kind of person who starts, but that person is created by starting. This is where you have to be honest. Brutally honest. Not cruel, honest. Look in the mirror and ask yourself, where am I pretending? Where am I using positive thinking to avoid responsibility? Where am I calling it manifestation when I am really just afraid to act? Where am I waiting for confidence instead of creating evidence? Where am I letting the old version of me make decisions for the future version of me? These questions are not comfortable. They are not supposed to be. Comfort has already taken enough from you. Comfort took mornings. Comfort took focus. Comfort took years of potential and dressed them up as, "I'll start soon." Comfort made your excuses sound reasonable. Comfort told you that small compromises were harmless, but small compromises compound. So do small victories. That is the whole game. You are compounding something every day, either discipline or regret, either focus or distraction, either self-trust or self-betrayal, either the old life or the new one. There is no neutral. Even doing nothing is training you to do nothing. So choose your training. Choose the boring thing that saves you. Choose the routine that makes you stronger. Choose the action that gives you proof. Choose the standard that your future self will thank you for. And when you fail, because you will fail, do not turn one failure into a new identity. Miss once if you must. Do not miss twice. Fall once if you must. Do not build a home on the ground. Have a bad day, then return. Eat badly once, then return. Waste a morning, then return. Break focus, then return. The speed of your return is one of the strongest signs of who you are becoming. Weakness wants a bad day to become a bad week. Discipline cuts the chain early. That is what separates people. Not perfection, recovery. The person who wins is not the person who never feels resistance. It is the person who stops making resistance special. He expects it. He knows it will come. He does not panic when the work feels boring. He does not quit when the results are invisible. He does not need every day to feel meaningful. He understands that meaning is often built after the repetition, not before it. And one day, quietly, the proof starts to show. Your body changes, your work changes, your focus changes, your face changes, not because you screamed about change, because you repeated it. People will ask what happened. They will think you found some secret. They will think you discovered some new motivation, some new method, some new confidence. But you will know you just stopped abandoning yourself. You stopped waiting for life to feel easy before you acted. You stopped treating your emotions like kings. You stopped letting the weakest part of you write the schedule. You stopped using hope as a hiding place. You made the future personal, not loud personal, deep personal. The kind of personal where nobody has to understand it for you to continue. The kind of personal where you can work without applause. The kind of personal where you can be alone and still feel guided. The kind of personal where your dream is no longer entertainment. It is a responsibility. And that is when positive thinking becomes powerful again. Because now it has legs. Now it has hands. Now it has a calendar. Now it has sweat behind it. Now it has a system underneath it. Now your belief is not floating in the air. It is being dragged into reality by what you do every day. That is the bridge. From manifestation to mastery. From emotion to evidence. From wanting to becoming. From one day to today. So here is the question. Not what do you want? You already know what you want. The question is, what are you willing to repeat? What are you willing to do when it gets boring? What are you willing to keep doing after the mood leaves? What promise are you willing to make so small, so clear, so practical that you can no longer hide from it? Start there. Start with one action, not the perfect action, the honest one, the one you can do today, the one that breaks the pattern, the one that tells the old version of you, you do not run this anymore, and tomorrow do it again. Not because it feels good, because it is yours, your life, your word, your future, your responsibility. Positive thinking can show you the door, but discipline opens it. Action walks through it, and repetition builds the life on the other side. But now we have to go deeper, because after you stop waiting for motivation, after you begin moving, after you build a little discipline and prove to yourself that you can act even when you do not feel like it, another question rises from the silence. Why? Why are you doing this? Why are you waking up early? Why are you training your body? Why are you protecting your mind? Why are you trying to become better when most people around you have already made peace with being average? That question matters, because discipline can get you started, but purpose is what keeps you alive when discipline gets heavy. You can force yourself for a day. You can push yourself through a week. You can build a routine for a month. You can act tough for a season. But sooner or later, life will press on you in a place where hype cannot help. The routine will feel empty. The progress will feel slow. The dream will feel far away. The world will feel uncertain. And your mind will ask the question it always asks when the pain becomes real. Why am I doing this? And if you do not have an answer, comfort will answer for you. Fear will answer for you. The old version of you will answer for you. That is why you need purpose. Not a pretty word, not a slogan, not something you say because it sounds deep. Purpose is the work that gives your life weight. Purpose is the reason your discipline has somewhere to go. Purpose is the thing that makes you willing to endure boredom, rejection, loneliness, pressure, and uncertainty without falling apart every time the road gets hard. A man without purpose may still be busy, but he is drifting. He can wake up, go to work, pay bills, answer messages, eat, sleep, repeat. He can look responsible from the outside and still feel dead inside. He can be productive and still not be alive. He can survive for years without ever asking the one question that would disturb everything. What am I here to do? Not what do people expect from me? Not what looks safe? Not what keeps everyone comfortable? What am I here to do? There are people who never ask that question. They get caught in the machinery of life. They go to jobs that do not stretch them. They stay in places that no longer call anything great out of them. They sit in relationships, routines, environments, and identities that quietly tell them, this is all you are. And eventually they believe it. That is the tragedy. Not that people fail. The tragedy is that many people never give themselves a real chance to discover what was inside them. They live under a ceiling they did not build, and after a while, they stop looking up. Maybe you know that feeling of being alive, but not fully living. That feeling of doing what you have to do, but not touching what you were born to do. That feeling when the week begins and something in you tightens, not because you are lazy, but because your soul knows you are giving your best energy to a life that does not challenge your deepest gifts. And listen carefully, this is not a call to be reckless. This is not saying quit everything tomorrow and jump into chaos. No. If you have responsibilities, carry them. If you have people depending on you, honor that. If you have bills, pay them. But do not let responsibility become the polite name for surrender. Do not let survival become the excuse for never building the thing that has been calling you. If you know your life work, start working on it. If you do not know it yet, start looking. And if you cannot do everything, do something. Just a little. Study it. Practice it. Write about it. Talk to someone who has done it. Read one book. Save one idea. Train one skill. Record one rough attempt. Take one imperfect step toward the thing that makes you feel more awake. Because purpose does not always arrive as a thunderstorm. Sometimes it arrives as a small pull, a quiet interest, a thought that keeps coming back, a gift people keep asking you to use, a pain you survived that could help someone else survive, a dream you keep trying to bury, but it keeps finding a way back to the surface. Do not ignore that. Some people wait for life to give them a full map before they move, but life rarely works like that. Sometimes the map appears only after you start walking. Sometimes the door opens only after you knock. Sometimes the confidence comes only after you enter the arena and get hit a few times. That is why fear is so dangerous. Fear does not always scream. Sometimes fear sounds practical. It says, be realistic. It says, you are not ready. It says, who do you think you are? It says, what if they laugh? It says, what if you fail? It says, what if you lose what little you have? And if you listen long enough, fear will make a cage feel like wisdom. But ask yourself this, what has fear given you? Really? What is the benefit of letting fear make the decisions? Has it given you peace? Has it given you self-respect? Has it given you the life you secretly want? Or has it only kept you safe from the pain of trying while slowly feeding you the pain of regret? Because there are two kinds of pain. There is the pain of the arena, where you try, fall, learn, bleed, grow, and become something stronger. And there is the pain of the sidelines, where you sit untouched, untested, unseen, telling yourself you are safe while something inside you dies from not being used. Most people choose the second pain because it is quieter, but quiet pain is still pain. It follows you, it waits for you at night. It speaks when the room is dark and nobody is around to distract you. It says, you could have done more. That voice is not there to torture you. It is there to wake you up, because something in you knows you are not here just to get through the day. You are not here just to be comfortable. You are not here just to consume, complain, survive, and disappear. There is something you brought here that was not here before you came. A voice, a perspective, a gift, a story, a service, a work, a fire, and nobody can do your work for you. Nobody can write the book that has your fingerprint on it. Nobody can speak with your exact voice. Nobody can build the thing that comes from your strange combination of pain, hunger, memory, imagination, and discipline. Nobody can reach the people who are waiting for the version of you that has not fully arrived yet. That is why you cannot afford to keep shrinking. You may not believe in yourself completely right now. That is fine. Start anyway. You may not see the whole path. That is fine. Take the next step anyway. You may still feel fear in your body. That is fine. Fear can come with you, but it does not get to lead. There is a difference between feeling fear and obeying it. And your life begins to change when you stop treating fear like a command. Because many of the things people run from have no real teeth. They look big from a distance. They bark loudly in the imagination. They chase you in your mind for years. But the moment you turn around, the moment you face them, the moment you do the thing you have been avoiding, you realize something. The fear was not as powerful as the story you built around it. The first video was not as scary as you thought. The first conversation did not destroy you. The first failure did not kill you. The first rejection did not end your life. The first step did not require the entire universe to approve. You just had to turn around. You just had to face it. You just had to stop running from a shadow. And once you do that, you begin to build a new relationship with yourself. That relationship is everything, because it is not about them. It is about you. It is about what happens inside when your head touches the pillow at night. It is about whether you know you moved with honesty that day. It is about whether you are secretly proud of yourself or secretly disappointed in yourself. It is about whether you kept the agreement you made when the emotion was high and the mood was gone. Keep your agreements. That sounds simple, but it is one of the most powerful things a person can do. If you say you will work on the dream for 30 minutes, keep the agreement. If you say you will stop feeding your mind garbage before bed, keep the agreement. If you say you will train your body, keep the agreement. If you say you will write the idea down, keep the agreement. If you say you will stop letting fear run your life, keep the agreement. Because every kept agreement builds self-trust, and every broken agreement trains self-doubt. Do not underestimate that. Your mind is watching you. Your future is listening to your behavior. Your identity is being built by the small private things you either honor or betray. And if you have spent years breaking agreements with yourself, do not hate yourself for that. Just understand the cost. Then start rebuilding. One kept promise at a time, one small action at a time, one honest day at a time. That is how a person returns to himself. And while you are returning, guard your mind. You cannot be careless with your mental environment and then wonder why your spirit feels weak. The mind is not neutral. It is always being fed by something. If you feed it fear, it will produce hesitation. If you feed it excuses, it will produce delay. If you feed it comparison, it will produce insecurity. If you feed it noise, it will produce confusion. If you feed it bitterness, it will produce a bitter future. So be careful what you allow in. Be careful who gets access to your energy. Be careful what you watch when you are tired. Be careful what you listen to when you are discouraged. Be careful whose voice becomes louder than your own. Because if you do not program your mind, the world will program it for you. And the world is not always trying to make you strong. The world will sell you panic, distraction, outrage, envy, gossip, lust, fear, and hopelessness every single day if you keep the door open. Close the door, not to life, to poison. Feed your mind with things that strengthen your direction. Read words that make you stand taller. Listen to voices that call you higher. Write your thoughts down before the noise steals them. Keep a journal near you. Pay attention to ideas when they come. Some ideas are not random. Some ideas are instructions. Some ideas are seeds. And some seeds, if you act on them, can become a whole new life. Do not trust memory with everything important. Write it down. When the idea comes, capture it. When the thought returns again and again, respect it. When something inside says, "This matters," do not dismiss it just because you do not yet know how it will work. You do not have to know the whole outcome to honor the next instruction. That is where trust begins. You have to learn to trust yourself, not blindly, not arrogantly, but deeply enough to stop giving your power away to people who were never given your dream. This is important. Because there will always be people who cannot see what you see. They will tell you to calm down. Be realistic. Stay safe. Do not embarrass yourself. Do not try too much. Do not dream too loudly. Do not step beyond the version of you they already understand. Sometimes they mean well. Sometimes they are protecting their own limitations. Either way, you cannot give them the steering wheel. If the dream was given to you, it does not need to make sense to everybody else. Protect it, nourish it, work on it, let it grow in private. But do not hand your future to someone whose imagination is smaller than your calling. Do not give your power away. You already know what happens when you do that. You become stiff. You become unnatural. You start performing a version of yourself designed to satisfy someone else's fear. You hide the very thing that makes you powerful. You shrink your voice. You abandon your instinct. And even if people clap, something inside you knows you betrayed yourself. Do not do that again. Let them take you as you are. Improve, yes. Learn, yes. Grow, yes. But do not disconnect from the fire that made the dream yours in the first place. That fire matters. And as you work on that dream, you need to understand something. You will be tested. Things will not happen as fast as you think they should. People will ignore you. People will delay. People will promise and not deliver. Doors will close. Messages will go unanswered. You will send your work out and hear silence. You will improve and still not be noticed. You will have seasons where it feels like nothing is moving. Do not take it personally. Keep knocking, keep building, keep improving, keep sending the next version, keep becoming harder to ignore. This is where patience matters. This is where persistence matters. This is where real positivity matters. Not fake positivity, not pretending pain does not hurt, not smiling while resentment grows inside you. Real positivity is the ability to stay open, focused, and faithful while reality is still unfinished. Patient, persistent, positive. Those three are not soft words. They are survival tools. Patience keeps you from quitting too early. Persistence keeps you moving when the world is slow to respond. Positivity keeps your mind from poisoning your own future while you are waiting. Because if you become bitter while you are building, bitterness will corrupt the thing you are trying to build. If you become angry at every delay, anger will waste energy you need for the work. If you judge every obstacle too quickly, you may miss what it is teaching you. So stand back sometimes. Observe life. Do not react to everything. Do not let every rude person, every closed door, every uncomfortable circumstance decide who you are going to be that day. You do not have to let the world choose your reaction. That is your power. You can look at what happened, breathe, learn, adjust, and keep moving. That is not weakness. That is control. And control matters because the arena will not be gentle with you. If you are serious about your purpose, you cannot avoid the fight. You cannot sit in the bleachers forever, watching other people live, judging their mistakes, protecting yourself from embarrassment, and still expect to become strong. You have to get on the field. You have to get some dust on you. You have to experience rejection. You have to experience hard times. You have to experience the pain of being a beginner. You have to stretch beyond what you already know how to do, because the part of you that you are looking for does not wake up inside comfort. It wakes up under demand. You do not discover your strength by staying where everything is familiar. The familiar place feels safe, but it can also become a place where your gifts go to sleep. You become good at surviving there. You become good at explaining why you cannot leave. You become good at calling the cage a home. But if you want to grow, you must attempt something beyond what you have already mastered. You must reach for something you cannot touch easily. You must jump. Maybe you miss. Maybe you fall. Maybe you scrape your knees. Maybe you come back embarrassed. Good. Come back again. Jump again. Reach again. Through that process, you learn how to leap higher. You learn how to stand after impact. You learn how to think under pressure. You learn who you really are when the easy version of life is no longer available. And that is the secret. When you are working on a dream, you think the dream is the only reward. It is not. The person you become while pursuing the dream may be the greater reward. Because even if the first dream changes, even if the first plan fails, even if the road bends in a direction you did not expect, you are not the same person anymore. You have developed courage. You have developed skill. You have developed resilience. You have developed a stronger sense of who you are. And a person who has become strong in one arena can carry that strength into another. That is why struggle is not always against you. Sometimes struggle is training you for the version of life you said you wanted. But most people want the dream without the training. They want purpose without pressure. They want destiny without discomfort. They want the result without the arena. It does not work like that. You have to be willing to be shaped. You have to be willing to be humbled. You have to be willing to be corrected by reality. You have to be willing to learn the parts of yourself that are still weak, not so you can hate yourself, but so you can build them. That is how you stop being a spectator. That is how you become a participant in your own life. And when you enter the arena, do the right thing. This part matters. Do not try to cheat your way into your dream. Do not take the low road because it looks faster. Do not betray your values to reach a place where you will no longer respect yourself when you arrive. There are shortcuts that cost more than the long road. You can win something and still lose yourself, and that is not success. True success must allow you to look in the mirror without flinching. It must allow you to know that even when no one was watching, you did not sell yourself cheaply. You did not become dishonest because the honest path was slow. You did not become cruel because people were difficult. You did not become negative because life was unfair. Take the high road. Do the right thing. Not because it is easy, because you have to live with yourself afterward. And as you move, choose your circle carefully. You need people who take their own lives seriously. Not perfect people, serious people. People who keep agreements, people who show up, people who tell the truth, people who want to grow, people who do not constantly drain your energy with excuses, drama, bitterness, or fear. One deeply negative person can poison an entire season of your life if you keep letting them feed your mind. That does not mean you hate people. It means you protect your direction. You cannot carry every person into your future. Some people are connected to the version of you that you are trying to outgrow. Love them from a distance if you must. But do not keep handing your mind to people who make weakness feel normal. Your purpose is too expensive. Your time is too limited. Your attention is too sacred. And if you think you have wasted too much time already, listen to me now. You have comeback power. I do not care how low you feel. I do not care how many times you have failed. I do not care how much of your life looks broken. I do not care how many years you spent drifting. There is still something in you that can rise. There is still a part of you that knows the story is not finished. There is still a power in you stronger than the habit you have been using to numb yourself. Because sometimes people do not destroy themselves because they enjoy destruction. Sometimes they are trying to numb the pain of an unlived life. They drink over it, scroll over it, sleep over it, eat over it, work over it, laugh over it. But the ache remains. That ache is the part of you asking for more. Do not numb it. Listen to it. It is telling you that your life deserves a deeper answer. It is telling you that you have not met the full version of yourself yet. It is telling you that the dream is not dead. It is only buried, and buried things can rise if you are willing to dig. So dig. Dig through fear. Dig through shame. Dig through old patterns. Dig through other people's opinions. Dig through the years you wish you had not wasted, and find the part of you that still believes, even quietly, that something more is possible. Then feed that part, train that part, give that part work to do, because tough times do not last forever, but tough people learn how to stand inside them. And you are tougher than the story you have been telling yourself. You survived things that were supposed to break you. You made it through nights nobody saw. You carried pain you did not know how to explain. You are still here. That means there is material in you. There is evidence in you. There is a reason you have not let go completely. Now use it. Use the pain. Use the fear. Use the wasted years. Use the rejection. Use the uncertainty. Use the hunger. Turn it into work. Turn it into service. Turn it into discipline. Turn it into purpose. And understand this clearly. Nobody is coming to live your life for you. Nobody is coming to write your book. Nobody is coming to build your business. Nobody is coming to train your body. Nobody is coming to protect your mind. Nobody is coming to discover your purpose and place it perfectly in your hands. That responsibility is yours. And that is not bad news, that is power. Because if it is yours, then you can do something with it. If the script is yours, you can rewrite it. If the habits are yours, you can rebuild them. If the choices are yours, you can make new ones. If the dream is yours, you can fight for it. Do not sit there blaming the world while still repeating the same design. Go back to the drawing board, rewrite the next scene, change what you feed your mind, change what you tolerate, change the hour you wake up, change the room you work in, change the people you keep explaining yourself to, change the agreements you make with yourself, change the way you respond to fear, change one thing today that proves the old pattern is losing power. That is how life changes, not all at once, but honestly. One decision, one kept agreement, one courageous act, one step into the arena, one day where you do not abandon yourself, and slowly the future begins to believe you. So do not just think positive, live on purpose. Do not just build discipline, give that discipline a mission. Do not just dream, work the dream. Work it when it is clear, work it when it is confusing, work it when it is exciting, work it when it is boring. Work it when the door opens. Work it when the door stays closed. Work it when people believe. Work it when nobody sees it yet. Work it until the dream gets hot. Work it until the person carrying the dream becomes stronger than the fear trying to stop it. Because the final victory is not only that you get the thing you wanted. The final victory is that you become the kind of person who no longer needs life to be easy before he moves. The kind of person who can trust himself, the kind of person who knows his purpose, the kind of person who guards his mind, the kind of person who enters the arena, the kind of person who gets knocked down and still comes back, the kind of person who does not give his power away, the kind of person who can say quietly, without needing applause, "This is my life, this is my work, this is my responsibility. And I will not leave here without giving everything I was given." Positive thinking opens the mind. Discipline moves the body. But purpose gives the soul a reason to keep going. And when mind, body, and purpose come together, you stop drifting. You stop waiting. You stop asking life for permission. You begin, really begin. But let me tell you the truth. Beginning is not the same as becoming. A lot of people begin. They begin diets. They begin plans. They begin routines. They begin new identities. They begin with emotion, with fire, with a speech in their head about how this time is going to be different. And then comfort calls them back. One bad day, one weak morning, one moment of boredom, one little excuse. You deserve to relax. And just like that, they return to the same life they said they were done with. That is why most people never become who they say they want to become. Not because they are not talented, not because they are not smart, not because they do not have potential. They fail because they are still in love with comfort. And comfort is expensive. It looks cheap in the moment. It feels harmless. It feels like one more hour of scrolling, one more night of wasting time, one more skipped workout, one more excuse, one more promise to start tomorrow. But comfort always sends the bill later, and the bill is your confidence. The bill is your self-respect. The bill is your focus. The bill is your future. You think you are resting, but you are slowly teaching yourself to quit. You think you are relaxing, but you are slowly training your mind to obey weakness. You think it is just one small compromise, but small compromises compound until one day you look in the mirror and you do not recognize the person looking back. That is the silent toll, not the pain of working, the pain of knowing you keep choosing less than you are capable of. That pain is worse because the workout ends, the deep work session ends, the lonely season ends, the hard morning ends, but regret does not end so easily. Regret follows you. Regret gets quiet, but it does not leave. It waits for you at night when the noise is gone. It waits for you when you see someone else doing the thing you were supposed to do. It waits for you when you remember the promises you made to yourself and the years you kept giving away. And deep down, you know comfort is weakening you. You know distraction is eating your life. You know the easy path is not making you happy. It is only making you softer. And there is a difference. Happiness gives you strength. Comfort often steals it. You have been lied to by a world that tells you success can be comfortable. It cannot. Not real success, not self-mastery, not greatness, not the kind of life that demands something from your soul. You cannot protect your comfort and expect your strongest self to appear. You cannot keep every distraction, every bad habit, every cheap pleasure, every lazy pattern, and then wonder why your life has no power. Something has to die. Either your comfort dies or your dream dies. Either your excuses die or your future dies. Either the weak version of you dies or the strongest version of you never gets born. That is the trade. Stop pretending there is no price. There is always a price. The averageness has a price. The only question is, which price are you willing to pay? Because the average life is not free. It costs you your edge. It costs you your fire. It costs you the part of you that used to believe something more was possible. It costs you years of saying later. It costs you the quiet embarrassment of knowing you could have become more, but you kept choosing easy. So do not act like comfort is safe. Comfort is not safe. Comfort is just a beautiful cage. It feeds you enough pleasure to keep you asleep. It gives you enough entertainment to numb the hunger. It gives you enough convenience to make weakness feel normal. It keeps you close to your phone, close to your cravings, close to your old identity, and far away from the pain that would actually wake you up. And that is the problem. You are too available to things that destroy your focus. You are too open to noise, too easy to distract, too easy to tempt, too easy to pull back into the same pattern. You say you want greatness, but your life is still designed for comfort. Look at your environment. Look at your morning. Look at your night. Look at your screen time. Look at what you do when nobody is watching. Look at what you run to when you feel stress. Look at what you keep choosing after you already promised yourself you were done. That is the truth. Your real standard is not what you say. Your real standard is what you tolerate. And most people tolerate too much weakness in themselves. They tolerate the late start. They tolerate the broken promise. They tolerate the lazy excuse. They tolerate the messy room, the messy schedule, the messy mind. They tolerate living below their own potential, and then they call it being human. No, being human means you will struggle. It does not mean you must surrender. Being human means you will feel weakness. It does not mean weakness gets to lead. Being human means you will fall. It does not mean you build a home on the ground. At some point, you have to get tired of your own excuses. Not depressed, not ashamed, tired enough to stop negotiating, tired enough to stop explaining, tired enough to stop making your weakness sound intelligent, because your mind is good at that. It will give you perfect reasons to stay average. It will say you are tired. It will say you are stressed. It will say you need balance. It will say you should wait for a better season. It will say you are not ready. It will say you have time. That is the most dangerous lie. You have time. You do have time, but not for everything. You have time for the life you choose. You do not have time to waste years pretending you are about to change. The clock is not waiting for your confidence. The clock is not waiting for your perfect plan. The clock is not waiting for your mood to improve. Every day you do not choose your future, you are choosing your pattern, and your pattern is choosing your life. So choose harder, choose deliberately, choose the thing that makes you stronger, not the thing that makes you comfortable for 10 minutes. You need voluntary hardship. You need to choose discomfort before life forces discomfort on you. You need to put your body under pressure. You need to put your mind under pressure. You need to do hard things on purpose so your spirit remembers that it was not made to be weak. Wake up when it is still dark. Train when your body wants to stay soft. Work when your mind wants dopamine. Sit in silence when your hand wants the phone. Say no when everything in you wants the easy yes. Finish the task when boredom tells you to quit. That is how power comes back. Not from another quote, not from another video, not from another burst of emotion. Power comes back when you force your life to obey a higher standard. You want confidence, earn evidence. You want focus, remove distraction. You want strength, choose resistance. You want self-respect, keep your word when it is inconvenient. There is no shortcut. The shortcut is the lie that keeps weak people weak. And you are not weak because you feel resistance. You are weak when you obey it. Understand the difference. Resistance is normal. Excuses are normal. Fear is normal. Laziness is normal. But obedience to those things is a choice. You do not have to obey every feeling that enters your body. You do not have to follow every craving. You do not have to bow to every mood. You do not have to let the weakest part of you control the strongest dream inside you. You are not here to be ruled by appetite. You are not here to be dragged around by a phone. You are not here to be trained by comfort. You are here to take command. That begins with subtraction. Greatness is not always about adding more. Sometimes it is about removing what keeps making you weak. Remove the noise. Remove the cheap pleasure. Remove the people who make your excuses feel acceptable. Remove the habits that drain your energy before the real work begins. Remove the constant need to be entertained. Remove the safety net that lets you quit too easily. Remove the lie that you can keep living the same way and still become someone different. You cannot. The old environment produces the old self. The old routine produces the old results. The old comfort produces the old weakness. If you want a new life, you have to stop protecting the things that built the old one. That is the part people hate. They want transformation without loss. They want growth without grief. They want discipline without discomfort. They want greatness without saying goodbye to anything. But every real transformation takes something from you. It takes your excuses. It takes your laziness. It takes your need to be understood. It takes your addiction to comfort. It takes your old identity. And at first that feels like loss. But it is not loss. It is freedom. Because the things you are afraid to give up are often the things holding you hostage. That late night scrolling is not freedom. That constant distraction is not freedom. That weak routine is not freedom. That comfort zone is not freedom. It is control, and you are the one being controlled. You think you are choosing pleasure, but pleasure is choosing your future. You think you are choosing rest, but avoidance is choosing your identity. You think you are choosing comfort, but comfort is choosing your limits. So take your power back. Not tomorrow, not next week, not when everything feels easier. Now. Start with one thing, one sacrifice. One comfort you know is making you weak. Cut it. Do not discuss it. Do not make a dramatic announcement. Do not wait for people to clap. Just remove it, quietly, privately, like someone who is serious, because the strongest version of you is not built in public. It is built in private. It is built when nobody sees the choice. It is built when nobody knows you wanted to quit. It is built when there is no applause, no audience, no validation, no reward, no one telling you how disciplined you are. Just you, your promise, your standard, your refusal to go back. That is solitary accountability. That is where greatness starts. Not in the image, not in the caption, not in the performance, in the private place where you either keep your word or betray it. And you know the truth. You know when you betray it. You can fool people. You can post the right image. You can talk like someone who is serious. You can explain your plans. You can sound disciplined. But when your head hits the pillow, you know. You know if you gave your best. You know if you wasted the day. You know if you moved like someone with purpose or drifted like someone waiting to be saved. And that knowledge matters, because self-respect is not given. It is built by the private decisions that nobody can verify but you. Every time you choose the hard thing, you get a little more dangerous. Every time you keep your word, your mind trusts you more. Every time you remove a distraction, your focus sharpens. Every time you choose hardship on purpose, comfort loses authority. And one day, the difficult path becomes normal. That is when you know you are changing. Not when you feel motivated, not when you talk about discipline, but when hardship no longer surprises you, when boredom no longer defeats you, when loneliness no longer scares you, when discomfort no longer controls you, when you can walk into the hard thing without making a speech about it. You just do it. That is power, quiet power, real power, the kind that does not need to be announced. And when you have that, the modern world loses its grip on you, because most people are addicted to ease. They cannot sit alone. They cannot work without checking the phone. They cannot be bored without escaping. They cannot feel stress without numbing themselves. They cannot face silence because silence exposes them. But you start using silence. You start using discomfort. You start using isolation. You start using pressure. You turn the things they avoid into your training ground. That becomes your competitive moat. Not talent, not luck, not motivation. Your willingness to do what others keep avoiding. They avoid boredom. You enter it. They avoid discomfort. You schedule it. They avoid being alone. You use it to hear yourself. They avoid pressure. You let it sharpen you. That is how you separate. Not by talking, by choosing, again and again. And let me warn you, comfort will come back, even after you escape it, especially after you escape it. When you start winning, comfort will return wearing a different mask. It will not look like laziness anymore. It will look like reward. It will say, you deserve this. It will say, you have worked hard enough. It will say, you can slow down now. It will say, you are already ahead of most people. And that is where many people lose their edge. They escape the comfort zone, build a little success, then use success as permission to become soft again. Be careful. The comfort you escaped will try to hire you back. It will offer better conditions. It will offer pleasure with a cleaner name. It will offer rest that slowly becomes regression. Rest is necessary, but comfort disguised as rest is dangerous. Know the difference. Rest restores the mission. Comfort replaces the mission. Rest brings you back stronger. Comfort makes you forget why you started. Rest has boundaries. Comfort keeps asking for more. So audit yourself constantly. Where am I getting soft? Where am I lying to myself? Where am I calling comfort balance? Where am I letting success make me casual? Where am I protecting a habit that is quietly weakening me? Ask these questions often, because the plateau is real. You can climb out of one life and then build another cage at a higher level, a nicer cage, a more comfortable cage, a cage with better furniture, but still a cage. The goal is not to upgrade the cage. The goal is to stay free. And freedom requires edge. You have to maintain the edge. You have to sharpen it. You have to keep choosing challenge before softness takes over again. That does not mean you live in misery. It means you do not let comfort become your master. You can enjoy life without becoming weak. You can rest without losing discipline. You can succeed without becoming soft, but only if you remain honest, brutally honest, because comfort does not destroy you in one obvious attack. It creeps, it enters quietly, a little more delay, a little less focus, a little more pleasure, a little less training, a little more noise, a little less silence, a little more excuse, a little less self-respect. Then one day you wake up and the edge is gone. Do not let that happen. Guard the edge. Guard your hunger. Guard your standard. Guard the part of you that knows you were made for more than ease. Because there is a power inside you that only wakes up under pressure. You cannot access it while you are constantly comfortable. You cannot access it while you are always entertained. You cannot access it while every inconvenience makes you retreat. That power is buried beneath convenience, buried beneath dopamine, buried beneath excuses, buried beneath the soft life you keep defending. If you want it back, you have to dig it out with work, with sacrifice, with solitude, with discipline, with voluntary hardship, with mornings you do not want, with standards you do not negotiate, with the courage to remove whatever is making you weak. This is the toll of greatness. It will cost you comfort. It will cost you approval. It will cost you easy pleasure. It will cost you the old version of yourself. It will cost you the right to keep pretending. But what you get back is worth more. You get your focus back. You get your self-respect back. You get your strength back. You get your hunger back. You get your life back. You get the part of yourself that does not fold every time life becomes difficult. And that is the part you need, because life will not always be soft. The world will not always be stable. People will not always believe in you. Your emotions will not always support you. Your body will not always feel ready. Your mind will not always be clear. So you need something deeper than comfort. You need command. You need the ability to say, I do not feel like it, but I will do it. I am tired, but I will move. I am afraid, but I will face it. I am alone, but I will build. I am tempted, but I will not obey. I failed yesterday, but I will return today. That is self-mastery, not perfection. Command, and command is built by sacrifice. So now the question is simple. What comfort is costing you your future? Name it. Be honest. Is it the phone, the late nights, the lazy mornings, the weak circle, the cheap dopamine, the emotional eating, the excuses, the need to be liked, the habit of quitting when things get boring, the belief that you should feel good before you do what must be done? Name it, because what you refuse to name, you cannot defeat, and what you continue to tolerate will continue to control you. So pick one comfort, one weakness, one pattern, one thing you know is stealing power from your life, and sacrifice it. Today, not forever in theory, today in reality. Turn the phone off. Get up, train, write, build, walk, study, work, clean the room. Do the thing you keep avoiding. Take one action that proves you are no longer worshiping comfort. Then do it again tomorrow, and the next day, and the next, until the old self realizes it is not in charge anymore. That is how you reclaim power, not by waiting, not by hoping, not by posting, not by talking, by removing comfort and choosing the hard thing on purpose. Your future does not need more promises, it needs proof. Your dream does not need more emotion, it needs sacrifice. Your purpose does not need more language, it needs a body willing to pay the price. So pay it. Pay it quietly. Pay it daily. Pay it when nobody sees. Pay it when comfort calls. Pay it when the world tells you to soften. Pay it when the old version of you begs to return. Because if greatness is truly what you want, then understand this. It will not come to the version of you that keeps choosing ease. It will come when you become the person who can carry it. And that person is built in discomfort. That person is forged in silence. That person is trained by sacrifice. That person does not wait for life to become easy. That person takes command. So sacrifice the comfort, reclaim the power, pay the toll, and become the person your purpose has been waiting for.